Hey folks, AJ the CEO here, and we got the PTZ that AVIDEONE, see I said the name right, sent me. So we're going to go ahead and do an unboxing, hook it up to their PTZ remote joystick, see all the bells and whistles, what it can and can't do, and see is it a good option to be added to your ministry if you're looking for a PTZ. So let's go. Alrighty, so let's see what we got inside. I would hope it will be a PTZ. Manual. It looks like the frame looks a little bit different than the other ones that we've messed with. Now, the one thing I will say that while we're doing this, this is going to be installed in a project that we're starting next week at Shiloh Baptist Church in Ashland, Virginia. So we'll have some more ways that we're going to use this. So it comes with a remote. We got our mounting points, a little pad to help cushion when you're mounting the PTZ to some type of tripod or a mount. Now this is going to be unique because in this install we're installing 3 PTZs, but this one is going to be a ceiling mount, and I found this that extends down. We're going to be finishing up their fellowship hall, replacing a lot of stuff that they had there, as well as we're going to be adding this and another. Well, actually, no, this one is going to go inside their fellowship hall upside down from the ceiling. And then we have 2 other cameras that are going to go inside their sanctuary, but this one is going to be mounted to this. So let me go ahead and keep this here. And those screws are going to secure that in the little mounting hole right there. We got our, whichever one that is, RS, I forget which one it is. All right, so got our power cable, which again, we're not going to be using because this is PoE powered, and we are going to test that out. But power cable, and I can actually, this is a lot different than the power cables I normally get, because they're kind of like the 2-prong connections, but typical kind of like computer connection. So we'll use that, but let's set those aside. We have our RS-232 cable that we're not going to use, but we could use. Actually, let me take that back. In this setup where we're going to be installing this one, this actually is going to be connected over RS-232, and we're going to convert it over Ethernet connection since it's only going to be 1 cable there. Save a little bit money of going through the IP joystick in that one location over what we're going to be doing in the sanctuary, because there's only going to be 1 camera that's in that sanctuary, in the fellowship hall, so no need to get an IP controller. This is the one that's actually going to be sitting inside the sanctuary. So I may have had the cameras backwards, but either way, we actually get a ceiling mount with this one, which is cool. I like the fact that they included mounts here, because it used to be you get some cameras, the mounts are separate and you have to pay for those separately. That adds to the expense. We have the camera, really light in comparison. We got our camera cover here, lens cover. Let's take that off. And is there anything else in the box? Yes, it is. It's actually a wall mount, a very big wall mount. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So it looks like it would actually mount this way and the camera goes here. And the reason I say that because of the indents here. Let's put this up and away. So the idea would be, let's look at the bottom. So it has some mounting holes, a lot more mounting holes here. So the idea would be if you had this mounted on here, we'd line this up something like that, and you see it lines up right there, hopefully. But it does have these other mounting holes. It doesn't look like they line up that way, and it doesn't look like it will work right here because of the indents in this. So it would be that you mount it this way, or if you do mount it this way, this is how you would mount it upside down. Alrighty. Let me get my remote here so we can zoom in. And let's look at what functions we have on the back. So we have our typical connections here. We have our RS-232 in and out, which is good. It actually has 2 jacks in and out. Some don't have that. We also have our, and that's a RS-485. I stand corrected because I didn't even say which one it was. We'll put it right here so we can see it clearly. We have our audio in, a 3G SDI out, HDMI out, which is what we're going to be using. We're going to be pairing this with a fiber HDMI cable, Ethernet, and our DC 12 volt. So with that being said, let's go ahead and zoom out here. And I have the PoE switch right here that we're going to be using for this install. Let's go ahead and connect that up. And boom, there it is with power, which is good. Not going to use the remote. Let me go ahead and set all that stuff back. Now, I guess I should have put this out to see the comparison on how we're going to mount this because it has multiple holes here. Again, I want to have multiple points of connection when I hook it up. But again, when it's going to be in the ceiling, I don't think it's something that we have to worry about that much because again, in the current setup, they actually have a DSLR up there that they're going up every time they go in there to turn it on, turn it off, and just switch out batteries and all this other stuff. So that's going to make it easier so they don't have to worry about that. All right, let's go ahead and connect this up to my ATEM so we can see the image. Now, before I actually do that, let's flip it over. As you can see, there are some dip switches here on the bottom, but it's only saying undefined, undefined, working mode, and updating mode. So no dip switches to set for resolution, which I'm assuming, which you know, you heard about what you do about assuming. It's not the good thing to do. I'm assuming that we can do this through a menu. And okay, I got an image here. It's showing up as Mac, so there we go. That's really good. Now, while we got this set up, it says that this PTZ supports the standard IP resolutions 1080p, but our frame rates are 60, 50, 30, 25, 59, 94, 29, 97, as well as, and that's in 1080p, and 1080i is 60, 50, 59, 94. Also supports 720p at 60, 50, 30, 25, 59, 94, and 29, 97. So no support for 720i, but I don't know why you would be doing anything in 720i or P at this point, which also includes 1080i. But yeah. So now let's go ahead and slide over our AVIDEONE joystick. And let's see if we natively can get some control to see if it's on the network. Because if not, we're going to have to cut over to the computer and get some stuff done to see if there's some type of setting to search. So we're just going to do our basic search. Hopefully the zoom in can actually see the menu that I'm doing here. Oh, this is a brand new joystick as well too. So let's go ahead and change the scheme mode, so it makes it a little bit easier for y'all to read. I think I can see that a little bit better, hopefully. Let's bring it down there. All right, so we're here. We're already on DHCP, so the joystick has an IP address. Now, let's go ahead and do a search. We're going to use search for Visca IP. And it's showing this, which is interesting, which is at 192.168.5.163. So it is not set up to DHCP. So let's actually cut over to the computer and let's go ahead and set this up, because again, I don't like doing this. Yes, it looks like the joystick can find it, but I don't want to do that because when we install this at the church, we are going to put that on the same network. So let's go ahead and cut over to the computer. All right, so we're here on the computer and we're going to go ahead and open up our network. This works on Mac or Windows. We're going to come over here to our Ethernet and we're going to change our DHCP to something manual. And we're going to put it in the range of the camera. So that's 192.168.5. I'm just going to pick 20. Subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Gateway 192.168.5.1. DNS on Windows 11, you need to put that as well. We just match the same thing that your gateway is, 192.168.5.1. Not that it matters. All right, so we got that done. Now, let's go ahead and open up a window. I'll do incognito because it doesn't matter. And now we're going to put in the IP address of the camera. So that's 192.168.5.163. And boom, we hit it. Awesome. So we're in English. Default password typically is admin. We'll try that. Admin. And boom, there we go. We're in. So let's go ahead and go to configuration. It looks like it's a similar type of layout. We have our controls here, so we could move it back and forth. We can set our focus. We can zoom in and out. And I didn't mention this is a 20X PTZ, so my apologies. All right, all the same controls here. We can set our presets from the screen if you really wanted to, but we do that from the joystick. Let's go to configuration. Exact same layout, very familiar. So we're going to go down here to our network and Ethernet port. We're going to turn on DHCP, save, and we have to reboot for it to kick in. So we'll reboot it. It's restarting over there. So now what we're going to do is let's switch everything back on our network. Back to DHCP. And now we're good to go. So now let's head back over and let's go back to our overhead to see what we can do about getting it on the joystick. All right. So now let's come back out of here and let's go to our search again. And we're going to look at Visca IP. And let's see what the IP address shows up now. All right, so now we're on my network of 192.168.0.250, which is a unique IP address. I wonder why I got that one. But anyway, let's go ahead and push in the button. I always do that on that one. The push in is actually right here. Push in right there. We set our camera ID, which I am going to wipe all this stuff out anyway because this joystick is going to go somewhere else. We set our ID. Straight, camera 1. Yep. We're going to do a call. We're connected. Awesome. So now, because some of y'all asked about it, let's go ahead and do this now. We're going to go to our assigned keys, these function buttons here, and we're going to set these to our camera. So that would be not command, but camera 1, camera 2, and they're not going to use a camera 3, but I like to have it set that way. And good. So now if we hit function, we are now connected to the camera. So if we move it, there we go. There we go. It sounded like Mario, right? All right, so we got our zoom in. I'm gonna have both our shots side by side. Not really much that you can see right now. Let's maybe point it at the camera that I'm looking at right now. All right, so we can zoom in here. And you see me looking over at the screen behind me so I can see where I'm aimed at. All right, really straightforward. just like any of the other ones. I like the fact it's in a little bit different form factor, so it does stand out, so it doesn't look like it's just another clone of all the other cameras with just a different label. So I like that, and I like the fact that it feels lighter than the other ones. So that's the first part of this. Really straightforward, really liking what we got going on. This camera does not support NDI, doesn't have any functions like that. It is only 1080p. So, you know, but again, from a cost standpoint, I think it's a really good option. Be on the lookout for our follow-up video where we're actually going to be installing this in Shiloh. And let me know if you have any other questions. We got a while to hold on to this until we're going to be installing it. So let me know if you have any questions. We might, I got access to 3 other cameras so we can do a comparison to see what they look like if you really wanted to see what the image quality and everything like that is. But again, thank you, AVIDEONE. Link is going to be down below if you're interested in getting one of these. And again, please let me know if you have any questions down below, and we'll put this through its paces. Obviously, if it has HDMI out or SDI out, it can be fed in. We're going into an ATEM right now. Any type of capture device you could set it up and pull video over the network. But me personally, I don't do that because I just don't like the latency that you have to deal with, and then that introduces a whole lot of complexity. So I like to do this as the simple approach. Hey, you put one Ethernet cable to send it power, have HDMI or SDI connected to whatever capture device that you got. Boom, you're done. So at least that's the way I do it. But again, this channel is catered to what y'all have. So if there's any other thing that you want me to test out in a different way, please let me know. So that's about it, folks. So if you like content like I'm doing here, hey, why don't you go ahead and click that card to the next video that YouTube thinks that you might be interested in checking out. This is AJ the CEO. We'll catch you later.